My husband said, "I can't keep pretending anymore. It's your sister I truly want." I replied, "Then go to her." 1 year later, I was the owner of the most successful gym in the city. What my ex-husband did when he saw me happier than ever with my new fiancé still makes me die with laughter. Joseph and I had been trying for a baby for 18 months. I planned to surprise him that I was pregnant on his birthday. Already had the positive test and a list of 100 baby names set up, but then Ashley called him. My younger sister, the fitness influencer with the perfect body and a bachelor's degree, whose bikini pics Joseph double-tapped daily, while I still dressed up every night begging him for the same attention. "I want to talk about something," Joseph said, still scrolling through Netflix. Me and Ashley talked. She's more equipped for what I want from life. 7 years of working overtime to pay for his community college, ruining my body with IVF treatments, everything. He was tossing into the garbage because my own sister's sweet talked in his ear. "Then have her," I found myself saying through tears. He looked up from the TV. "Wait, you're just okay with it? Do you even love me?" "I do love you. But clearly, my love isn't enough. So, just take your things and go." He left to meet Ashley at a photo shoot that same evening. Came back to get his things the next morning. Her hair tie was on his wrist, her lipstick still on his neck. He smelled like her. We slept in separate beds. He lied right to me. What Joseph didn't know was I'd already been suspicious. Ashley opened up to him more than her own friends. Always invited him to come work out. Hired him as a replacement photographer for one of her shoots. My mom called me exactly 24 hours later. "Did you hear? Joseph and Ashley are finally together. Aren't you just delighted for them?" Our 7 years of marriage was worth nothing. A couple of flirty attempts from Ashley, and all of a sudden everyone's calling them the best thing that happened to this family. "I'm sure you'll meet someone new, sweetie. Ashley's just hard to compete with." I was so close to punching them, to telling them about the baby. Instead, I ended the call and focused on my pregnancy. I miscarried 3 weeks later. Doctor said it was stress and improper fusion. I was at rock bottom. That Monday, I drove past a gym on my way home from work. The sign on the front door said, "Cleanup crew hiring. No qualifications needed." With my life plans derailed, I said screw it and parked my car. The gym owner was a retired bodybuilder. "You look like nothing a six-pack and a glute workout couldn't solve," she said. I chuckled for the first time in months. I got the job, and up in that weight room, nothing else mattered. Just me and the barbell. Not Joseph. Ashley, not my parents celebrating their engagement. I came home one day to Ashley helping Joseph clear out the last of his stuff. "You're sweaty," Ashley commented, handing me a napkin. Stares are hard for certain people. They both laughed at her joke. I didn't say a word, just went to change as they loaded things into their car. The gym became my outlet. What I saved, I spent on protein supplements and workout clothes that made me feel slay. The gym owner noticed I hit my goal weight and decided to pay for my qualification. Within 8 months, I had my personal training license. I started coaching women who paid me $60 an hour. One woman, Marianne, the wife of a real estate agent, particularly liked me. "You're an inspiration. We need more people like you." She told me about an old frail building on the side of town without a gym. She got her husband to cut me a deal. I put my life savings into it and slept on the unheated floor eating tinned food, but people in Marianne's circle were already offering thousands for equity in my future gym. Joseph actually contacted me 2 months after that. "Saw on your IG you're a PT now," being like, "Ashley won't win me back, you know." I ignored him. I was busy driving with Marianne to an investor meeting where the equipment of my gym would be funded. $150,000 for the best machines around. When my gym finally opened, I had 750 members within 8 weeks, turning $50,000 in profit in my first 3 months alone. Marianne was in disbelief when I told her, "You achieved more than any lousy influencer ever will. Your sister's still getting half naked for money." Finally, the invitations to Ashley and Joseph's 1-year wedding anniversary came around. My parents begged me to come. Joseph had something to say. I went with Dale, Mary Ann's nephew, tall, educated Olympic weightlifter, genuinely inspired by my gym story. We'd been engaged for 2 months. Joseph's reaction when he saw us was to die for. Dale's broad shoulders, my pregnant belly bump, Dale's quiet assertiveness that screamed confidence. Everything Joseph dreamed of. Ashley was pregnant, too. But she looked defeated. She pulled me aside. "Girl, please help. Joseph knows." By the time she started explaining, Joseph stood up and clinked his glass. "Attention, everyone." Ashley's face went white. "The bump you see on Ashley's belly," Joseph continued, "is not because of me." Everyone went white. "I'm infertile, which means that Ashley is pregnant with someone else." Then he turned to me. "I love you, and leaving was my biggest mistake. I'm never going to leave you again." He started walking towards me. I took 3 steps backward, and my hand went straight to my belly. That protective thing pregnant women do without thinking about it. Dale moved forward just a bit, not aggressive, but definitely there. And Joseph stopped dead in his tracks when he saw my bump properly for the first time. His whole face changed. Went from desperate to confused to something else I couldn't read. Dale's hand found mine and gave it this small squeeze, reminding me of what we talked about in the car, how we wouldn't let my heart rate spike no matter what happened tonight. I started doing those breathing exercises from prenatal yoga class, counting 4 in and 6 out. And right then, I felt the baby move, this little flutter that helped me stay calm. Joseph reached his hand out toward me like he wanted to touch my belly, or maybe just touch me, and started saying something about needing to talk alone, about us, about our future. The whole room was watching this disaster happen, and I could see at least 3 people holding up their phones, recording everything. I kept my voice steady and told him any communication would need to be through text or email, only in public spaces with other people around. His face crumpled like I'd slapped him, but I wasn't about to risk my baby's health for his breakdown. Dale and I turned toward the exit and started walking, keeping our pace normal, even though every muscle in my body wanted to run. Ashley was standing near the door with mascara running down her face, trying to catch my eye, but I looked straight ahead and focused on getting to the car. My breathing stayed steady even with all the chaos behind us. People whispering and gasping and probably posting everything online already. We got to Dale's truck, and he helped me up into the passenger seat, making sure my seatbelt was positioned right under my bump before walking around to the driver's side. The drive home was quiet except for the radio playing some old rock station Dale liked. Neither of us talking about what just happened. Once we got home, I grabbed my laptop and started typing everything out while it was still fresh, making a timeline of who said what and when, documenting everything in case we needed it later. Dale made chamomile tea without me asking, bringing it over in my favorite mug, the one with the gym's logo on it. He kept things light, talking about tomorrow's schedule at the gym, which trainers were covering which classes, normal stuff that had nothing to do with the disaster we just witnessed. I went to bed early, but couldn't sleep much. Kept thinking about everything that happened and what might come next. First thing in the morning, I called my OB's office and explained what happened at the party, how stressful it had been. The receptionist got me in with the doctor that same afternoon, and she checked everything. Said the baby looked fine, but gave me a list of warning signs to watch for. She also suggested I might want to limit stressful situations for the next few weeks, which almost made me laugh considering my whole family was a stressful situation. I drove to the gym after the appointment and could tell immediately that everyone already knew what happened. Members were huddled in little groups near the water fountain, and the front desk staff looked up at me with these worried faces. I called a quick staff meeting in the break room and told everyone we needed to handle any questions professionally, that our members came here to work out, not to gossip. My team nodded and I could see they had my back, which made me feel better than I had in days. I was going over membership numbers in my office when my phone rang and Mom's name popped up on the screen. She started writing about how I should hear Joseph out for the family's sake, how this was all a misunderstanding that could be fixed if I just tried. I told her calmly that I had to go and hung up, not letting her guilt trip work on me anymore. That evening, after the gym closed, I sat at my desk and typed out a text to Joseph, keeping it simple and clear. I told him I would only discuss necessary legal matters from our divorce, nothing personal, and that all communication needed to be in writing. I hit send and immediately went to his profile to block him on all social media platforms. My phone buzzed with what was probably his response, but I didn't look, just turned it face down and went to find Dale, who was cleaning up the weight room. He looked up when I walked in and didn't say anything. Just opened his arms so I could lean against him for a minute. Tomorrow would bring more drama, more calls, more people trying to convince me to do something I didn't want to do. But tonight, I had my gym, my business that I'd built from nothing, and Dale, who understood that sometimes the best support was just being there without trying to fix everything. The next morning, Dale called his buddy, who worked at a financial planning firm, and got us an appointment for that afternoon. We sat in the office going through every single account I had, making sure Joseph's name wasn't on anything from our marriage days. The advisor pulled up old bank records and found 2 joint accounts I'd forgotten about from years ago, one with $12 in it and another with $43. We closed them both right there and opened new ones with just my name, then went through my business accounts line by line. Dale took notes while the advisor listed every possible way Joseph could try to claim part of my gym, writing down dates and amounts and creating a paper trail showing everything was funded after our separation. My phone buzzed while we were signing papers and Ashley's name popped up on Instagram with a message request. She wanted to talk Woman Tomon about everything that happened at the party. I took a screenshot of the message for my records, but didn't open it, just tucked my phone away and focused on the financial documents. That afternoon, I went back to the gym and pulled up our class schedule on my computer. I added 3 extra prenatal yoga slots for myself each week and sent a message to my staff letting them know I might need coverage if the pregnancy made me tired. Within minutes, my team jumped in with offers to cover any class I couldn't teach, reminding me they had my back no matter what. The next day, while I was checking our social media accounts, I noticed we were being tagged in dozens of posts. Ashley had uploaded a vague story about betrayal and heartbreak with a black and white photo of herself looking sad. Her followers went wild trying to guess what had happened, and somehow my gym kept getting mentioned in the comments. Our follower count shot up by 200 in just a few hours. Strange, but hey, free publicity. I called Myrtle, and she came to the gym that afternoon with her laptop. She typed up a statement in my office that didn't really say much, but sounded professional, something about focusing on health and wellness and respecting privacy. She posted it across all our accounts, and the speculation died down pretty quickly. That night, Joseph texted me saying he needed to meet urgently to fix our family. I just copied the same boundary message I'd sent before about only discussing legal matters in writing and sent it again. Nothing extra. A few days later, I finally opened Ashley's message. I replied that I'd only agree to meet if she committed to a paternity test and if we had a professional mediator present. She said yes immediately, which honestly surprised me. The next morning, I researched family therapists who also did mediation and found one with solid reviews who could see us the following week. I emailed both Ashley and Joseph separately with the appointment details and ground rules. Keep everything factual, no blame games, equal time for everyone to speak. At our weekly staff meeting, I mentioned the situation without going into detail. We came up with scripts for anyone asking questions, basically saying we were here for fitness, not drama. My team also helped me set up keyword filters on our social media to block nasty comments. Later that day, when I got home, I found a thick envelope in the mailbox. The return address was from a law firm I didn't recognize. My hands shook as I opened it. Joseph's lawyer was claiming he might have a right to my gym as marital property, since I'd started working at a gym while we were still technically married. My stomach dropped, but I forced myself to breathe and switch into problem-solving mode. I started Googling forensic accountants in the area and found one downtown with experience in divorce asset disputes. His office squeezed me in that afternoon if I brought all my records. I spent 2 hours gathering everything: bank statements, incorporation papers, lease agreements, anything proving the timeline. Mr. Peterson, the accountant, looked exactly how you'd imagine: glasses, calculator on his desk. He combed through every document, making copies and highlighting dates. He asked about the inheritance money from my grandma that I'd used for the down payment. After reviewing it all, he leaned back and said Joseph's claim was basically worthless since everything had happened after we separated. But having the paperwork in order meant we could shut it down quickly. That night, while Dale and I were making dinner, he brought up the mediation. Stirring pasta, he said he didn't want to sit in the actual session because it might make things more tense with Joseph. He'd wait outside in the lobby or car, ready if I needed him, but thought keeping some distance would keep things professional. I appreciated that he wasn't trying to play the protective boyfriend role, just being thoughtful. As we cleaned up, my phone buzzed with a text from my mom. 5 words that made my stomach sink. Don't destroy our family. I stared at it for a full minute, that old guilt starting to creep back, then deleted it and blocked her number. For now. 2 days later, I woke up to find blood on my underwear. Not a lot, but enough to send me into full panic. Dale rushed me to the ER while I tried not to break down, terrified something was wrong with the baby. The triage nurse got me in quickly once I explained I was pregnant and bleeding. After an ultrasound, the doctor reassured me the baby looked fine. Just spotting from stress, nothing unusual, but I needed to rest more. The doctor prescribed me safe anxiety meds and suggested therapy for prenatal stress. The next morning, the mediator emailed ground rules, facts only, no yelling, equal time. Just seeing structure eased my chest. I picked a slot and sent it to Joseph and Ashley. Later, Ashley messaged that she'd agreed to the paternity test and asked if I'd go with her. I replied that the mediator would handle it and we should keep distance. She just sent a thumbs up. The first mediation came faster than I expected. Dale drove me but stayed in the car. The office was a bland neutral space. Joseph was already there in a suit, apologizing, saying he was in therapy, then pivoting straight into property division. I cut him off, no reconciliation, and asset talks go through lawyers only. The mediator documented everything, no contact outside sessions, Ashley's paternity test scheduled, and financial matters strictly through counsel. Having it signed felt protective. That weekend, at our gym fundraiser, members formed a shield around me, steering away gossip. Their loyalty reminded me I'd built something solid, beyond Joseph or Ashley. Monday, a reporter called about leaked party footage. I gave 2 dull sentences on privacy and hung up. 2 days later, I sat with the forensic accountant going through spreadsheets. Worst case, I could lose 30% if Joseph proved marital assets. I opened an emergency account with $50,000 just in case. That night, Dale admitted fears about always being compared to Joseph. We agreed to slow down wedding plans until the legal mess was done. The next morning, I went to my first prenatal class. The instructor, a tiny woman who delivered 5 kids, focused on breathing, birth plans, and advocating for ourselves. By the end, the whole room was breathing together like a strange choir. The next mediation, Ashley broke down and admitted the father was photographer Edwin Wyatt. The mediator recorded his info and later told me Edwin agreed to testing and to discuss custody after results. He seemed relieved to deal with a neutral party. The following Monday, the mediator's office sent me a summary from Joseph's therapist. Joseph was working through shame about infertility and his need for control when feeling inadequate. Reading Joseph's therapist report made me pity him for a moment, but I quickly remembered everything he'd done. I filed it away and refocused on my gym. That Friday, we signed a financial freeze agreement at mediation. No one could move assets until the evaluation was done. Joseph's hand shook as he signed, and Ashley wouldn't look at him. Finally, I felt secure enough to sleep. The next week, I hosted a staff dinner. Over pasta, we agreed to cap membership at 1,000 to protect quality and avoid becoming a chain. Edwin later met with the mediator, asking for confidentiality due to his photography work, and signed on for the paternity test. Joseph's lawyer then tried demanding $75,000 for his emotional investment. My accountant laughed, sent back proof every penny came from my inheritance and post-separation income, and shut it down. Ashley even texted me, thanking me for choosing mediation over court. I forwarded it to my lawyer without replying. At my OB appointment, I finalized my birth plan with Dale as my support person. 3 days later, we all showed up for Ashley's paternity test. Joseph, Ashley, and Edwin each gave samples, with results promised in 2 weeks. Gossip online had already quieted down. That Friday, the accountant confirmed Joseph had no claim on the gym. Inheritance and loans funded everything. At the next mediation, Joseph read a statement taking responsibility for his actions without asking for forgiveness. Ashley soon announced a break from social media. I finally started to sleep better. 2 weeks later, results confirmed Edwin was the baby's father. He and Ashley began working out custody through the mediator, shared legal custody, Ashley with primary care, Edwin with weekends when the baby was older. He even offered to add the child to his insurance. The mediator said Ashley and Edwin were handling things better than most couples. Joseph finally accepted reality, and we signed a settlement. He got $5,000 and gave up all claims to my business. For the first time in months, I felt free. Life settled into routine again until 5 weeks before my due date. Contractions started in the middle of a spin class. A nurse member helped me until Dale arrived, calm and steady, with our hospital bag. Labor was long and rough, but at 3:47 a.m. our daughter was born healthy at 7 pounds 2 ounces. Dale cried when she gripped his finger. I messaged Ashley later, simply wishing her a safe delivery.